Welcome back to Chasing Flavor, and here's where the rubber meets the road. Texas barbecue. That's right, it starts in your kitchen at 1:27 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. Fiance's phone showing you what time it is there. We're going to be doing the big boy today, the Texas style brisket. Stay tuned for this beauty. So here's what we're starting with today. We've got a beautiful prime brisket that we picked up at Costco. We've got my 11-inch slicer right here. We're going to be using this for trimming some of this excess fat off. And we've got our two seasonings that we're going to use. They're both Meat Church seasonings based out of Waxahachie, Texas. We've got the Holy Cow. That's going to be our main base. That's going to be the majority of the rub. And then we're going to come over it with a nice layer of the Holy Gospel. And so we'll put those to the side for now. So with a brisket, a lot of people like to do what they call like a super trim. They really trim it up, clean it up really nice and clean. I don't take that much off of the briskets. I like to just let them kind of cook and let them do their thing. I'm going to take some of this fat off. This is the meat side. This is the good side. We're going to have this side down. We're going to cook fat side up. Not really any difference in terms of how it cooks, how it's going to taste or anything like that. It's just kind of a personal preference. I like to do it this way because in theory, as the fat kind of renders and melts, it's kind of basting that meat as it falls across it. To each their own though, not a big deal. So let me move the knife. I don't have a cutting board that is actually big enough for a brisket like this. So I'm just gonna use actually a baking pan with some aluminum foil on there. We're gonna take it out of the bag, put it on that. We'll trim it up, then we're gonna get it seasoned up. So first, go ahead and pop this bag open right here. Just got the slicing knife, there it is, just right there, that easy, boom. Pop the bag, put that to the side. Come in with the pan underneath it, and now we can just pull this right apart. Boom. Easy peasy. Very sharp knife. Beautiful Kang Shan knife. It was a great gift from my siblings for my birthday this year. All right. Just lift this guy up and bag out of the way. I'm going to do a little bit of trimming on the meat side first. There's a little bit of fat that we're going to take off on there. Go ahead and get some of these juices off my hands so I can just handle this knife a little bit safer. So just any kind of loose fat that you see right there, you can just take that right off. You don't want to cut down in that meat. You want all that meat saved that you can. But yeah, on the meat side, I like to clean it up pretty well. Take most of the fat off of this side. And see right here, this is kind of where the flat, which is the leaner side of the brisket there, meets the point, which is this end down here. That's that fatty end. That's where you get your brisket burn ends from. You know, that's where you just get, for me, what is my favorite part of the brisket, the most flavorful part, where all the fat is. You really get all that flavor out of that fat. We're just going to do a little bit of trim in here. Just want to get that hard fat off of there because that hard fat's not really going to render. And so that's not going to do anything for you. You want some of that softer fat. Trim a little bit of this off right here. Just going to want to kind of make it even. Any fat that we do leave, want kind of even layers. Alright, I think I'm pretty much happy with this side. A little bit more off right there. Just kind of want to round it off, make a nice smooth shape. That way the smoke, once we get this in the smoker, really just flows around this really nicely. There's a little bit of loose fat right here. We'll get rid of that right there. Okay, that's looking clean. Yeah, I like that side. Okay, so let's flip this bad boy over. Now we got the fat side here. So again, we're going to want to take down any hard fat we can feel. So like right here, we got some really nice hard fat. We'll just knock that off, get rid of that. That's not going to render. And you just want to kind of make, I like to go, the rule of thumb I follow is the same one that they follow down in Austin there at Franklin Barbecue, which is about maybe a 1/4 inch thick on the fat cap. So let's see, let's take some of this fat off right here. This is real thick, it's hard. We're just gonna get rid of that there. Knock that down. Again, smooth shape. Want to almost make this, you know, aerodynamic. Again, we want that smoke really flowing around this. This is kind of some loose meat here. This is just fat. Just knock that right off right there. That's no use. I'm gonna leave that guy there. That's gonna make a nice little crispy piece there. So this fat, probably about a ½ inch thick. So I just want to take some of it off. Again, I like to leave most of the fat on, but I do a little bit of a trim there. All right. Clean it up. All right. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit right here that was still on the edge of the point. That looks good for me. That looks good for me. Yeah, a little bit more here actually. It's a little bit still too thick right here for my liking. Take that down. A little loose fat right here, just gone. Cool. That looks good. So, since we're gonna cook fat side up, I'm gonna flip it over. We're gonna season the meat side first, because then that way we only have to flip it one more time before we put it into the smoker. There we go. All right. So this is a big piece of meat. This was almost 16 pounds when we started. Probably took off maybe ½ pound to a pound of fat right there. So we're gonna need a lot of seasoning. That's gonna be key here, is a lot of seasoning. There's a lot of meat. We wanna get all that flavor down in there. So again, we're starting with the base layer, which is that holy cow from Meat Church right there. Spread that out, because we wanna catch the seasoning. I don't wanna make a big old mess. Again, I don't have a big cutting board yet. I don't have anything that can hold a piece of meat this size, so season a little bit high up. That's what they always say in all the cooking shows. You want to season from about maybe 6 inches up. That way you get a nice even layer of the seasoning on there. Coming across it. Spread it out down at this end. Again, I'm not trying to make a mess here. It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm trying to get this seasoned right, get it on the smoke, and then we're gonna let it go. We're just gonna let it go for 4 hours. 4, 5, 6 hours. That's the nap time right there. That's where we're taking the nap. All right, so that looks pretty good right there. Now, again, thick piece of meat, we want to get these edges too. Go ahead and lift up that edge. Boom. Oh yeah. We want everything seasoned. We're gonna eat all of it, right? We want to season all the meat. We don't want to just season part of it. All right. We'll get that side here in a minute. We'll flip it around, make it a little bit easier on myself. See, I'm just kind of patting it in. I mean, you can let this sit. Most people season and let it sit before they do anything more, you know, flip it over or anything like that. They'll let it sit for 20, 30 minutes. Season really out here, but I mean, this meat's wet, right? It's been in the pack. So it's just sticking already on its own. But you just want to make sure it sticks. You can just kind of give it a little pat, a little push in right there. You want to get the edge of the point up here. Boom. Alright, now this nice fat side right here. A little bit harder to get. Just manhandle this meat a little bit here. That's a lot of surface area. That's a lot of seasoning you can get in right there. Boom. Alright, cool. So while I've got it up, I'm going to go ahead and grab my topper seasoning, that Holy Gospel right there. And we're going to get that on there too. Now, not near as much as the base layer, obviously. This is just kind of the topper seasoning. This is a little bit extra different flavor right there. Go ahead and get this edge while we're at it. Perfect, perfect. There we go. Very nice. Looking beautiful, looking beautiful. Couple more edge pieces to do here. Yeah, there's gonna be a whole lot of seasoning that falls off on it. That's to be expected. Boom, and that's how you season that right there. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it flipped over. We're gonna season the other side. Then we're gonna get the smoker rolling. We're gonna start it out pretty low. I like to start mine a little bit lower just to get more of that smoke flavor in there. So we're actually gonna start at probably about 200 degrees right now, and we'll let that go for maybe a couple hours. Since I am going to go ahead and go to sleep, I may start it at 225 and let that roll for maybe 4 to 6 hours. I do have some probes that we're going to put in. I'll show you that right now. So it's a little bit of a mess, but that's because I have 3 probes that I'm going to be using tonight. So we got our base unit, and I've got 3 probes that I'm going to be using tonight. I have one that has the stand on it right here. I'm going to be putting that just into the smoker itself so I can see that temperature. This is a Bluetooth probe, so I've got it connected to my phone. Then I've got 2 probes. That one I'm going to put in the flat, which is really where you want to measure it. That's where you want to take your measurements from and go based off the temperature of the flat. And then I'm going to put another one in the point just so I can kind of see where each end of the brisket is in its cook time there. But that's the beauty of this Bluetooth probe, is I can wake up in a couple hours, check the temperature from my phone. Don't have to worry about getting up, going outside, seeing where it's at, adjusting it. It's all right there. I know if I need to get up to adjust it or not. But I'm gonna go ahead, flip this over, get that size seasoned, get those probes in. We're gonna get the smoker rolling, and we're gonna get it put on. All right, here we are. We're about 8 hours in now, 8 hours into the smoke. I've got it on my Pit Boss vertical smoker. We've got the Competition Blend hardwood pellets in there. I've already checked in on it once. I came out, I guess it was about maybe 4.5, 5 hours in. It had been running a little hot in my smoker as opposed to what it says down on the actual readout here. My probe that I have sitting just in the smoker was saying that it was running a little bit hotter than what I had it set at. So I've cranked it down. I've basically stalled the brisket now. I'm letting it sit and just cook, and it's sitting at about 140, 145, somewhere in that range right there. And so the actual inside temperature right now is about 192 degrees. I like that because it's only 10 in the morning. We're not planning on eating till about 6 o'clock tonight. So I'm not in any rush to finish this. You know, good Texas brisket, it's low and slow. We're gonna let it take its time. So right now, I'm gonna open up, we're gonna take a look at it. I'm gonna give it a little spritz. I just use water. Some people use apple cider vinegar. You can use whatever you feel like, right? But I'm just gonna give it a little spritz just to kind of set that crust in, set that bark in. All right, so there it is. It's looking pretty good. We're gonna refill the water pan while we're out here. But we're gonna go ahead and give it a little spritz and just set that bark in. We're starting to see some of the little pools of liquid on there. That's what you want to see. That's pulling up. That's all that flavor right there. So give it a little spritz. Again, we're just using this to kind of set the bark, right? We want that bark to stick. We want all that seasoning to stick on there. And this is just helping. All right. So that looks like a pretty good spritz to me there. Put that there. Now we're going to refill this water pan, and then we're going to close it back up and let it keep going. All right, so here we are. We're about 12 hours in. We've got it temped up here. This is my reader right here for all my 3 probes. I have 3 probes. The top one is going to be in the flat, middle one's going to be in the point, and the third one's going to be just the temperature of my smoker. So the flat's running 176 right now. That means it's begun to push through the stall that every brisket's going to hit. Most briskets are going to hit a stall anywhere between 160 degrees or so. So to hit there, it's going to stall for a while, and then eventually it'll start pushing through. It's actually going to start cooking again, and that's when we want to pull that out. And we're going to wrap it in aluminum foil today. A lot of people prefer to use butcher paper. I use aluminum foil. It holds the flavor in. It holds the juiciness in really well. So I'm going to go ahead. I got my gloves here. I'm going to protect myself. Oh, wrong hand. Put it on right there. Got the aluminum foil already ready right there. That's just so we can carry that inside. We're gonna go inside and I'll do a video on how I wrap inside, but that way it's just ready to go pretty much. So let's flip this open, take a look. And there we go. Look at that. Look at that color. Absolutely beautiful. That's a beautiful bark. That's what we want to see. We see the juices flowing off of it. Again, that's something you want to see. You know it's getting to that right spot. So I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna get it out. I'm going to put it in the pan there, and then we're going to get it inside. inside with this beautiful brisket. Again, we're only part of the way there. The flat, we're sitting at about 175. The point's about 165 right now. As you can see, beautiful bark development right there, just lovely. So now I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it again. I'm wrapping in foil. They call this the Texas crutch because we lean on it, but you know what? I'm not a professional barbecuer. I'm just a guy that likes to make good food at home. So why wouldn't I use something that's gonna hold in all those juices and all that beautiful flavor and smell? So absolutely, I'm gonna use that. So I've got some heavy duty, big aluminum foil here. Just gonna fold it over, make a little pocket. We do have our temperature probe still coming out because we still wanna keep an eye on that temperature, because that's how you know when you're done, is about when it hits that temperature of about 200, 204 degrees in the flat. That's what we're really looking for. That's the ideal. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap that up. And again, I've got some more underneath it. We're gonna make a nice little pocket, wrap it all up. Beautiful, beautiful. And then I've just got this large pan right here. This is like an oversized pasta pan, I think is what it said. Just another way to hold in all those juices so we don't lose any. It may leak out of the foil pouch that I made here, but it's gonna be in this nice pan for us to save all those beautiful juices, all that beautiful flavor stuff. That's wrapped up tight. We're gonna get it back out on the smoker. We're gonna get the probes plugged back in. We're gonna load up the water pan, make sure it's ready to go, and now it's just gonna sit. We don't need to spritz it, we don't need to check on it. I'm just gonna be checking the app on my phone, keeping an eye on that temperature. And when it's ready, we're gonna pull it, we're gonna let it sit for a little while, and then we'll be back for the carving. All right, so here we go. We've got the brisket off the smoker. It's actually been off for probably about 30, 45 minutes now. We've been letting it cool down just a little bit. We don't wanna cut it when it's hot, fresh off that smoker. We wanna give those juices time to redistribute into the meat, time to cool down a little bit. Of course, you can't really eat it when it's at 205 degrees like that. So we're gonna go ahead and pop it out. I've got my cutting board over here. I've got my knife over here. But we're gonna open it up and see what it looks like here. All right. So the first reveal. Oh yeah. Look at that beautiful, beautiful brisket. That's lovely. Look at that bark. That color's beautiful. It's just so juicy. You can see the juices right on top. It's so soft. All right. So let me bring my cutting board a little bit closer. I'm gonna push this guy just forward a little bit. I'm gonna bring the cutting board over. This is my carving board, as it were. All right. Be careful, we don't want to break this bad boy apart. Just want to get up underneath it. There we go. Over onto the carving board. We're gonna go ahead and pull the temperature probes. We don't need those anymore. Get this out of the way. Perfect, there we go. All right. Had the towel there to keep it cool. Didn't want to overheat our countertop there. So, beautiful brisket. I'm gonna go ahead and take my glove off my right hand so I can carve. I'm gonna keep the left one on just to keep my hand a little bit protected from the heat there. So when you're breaking down your brisket, you've got your flat and then your point, or you can flip around the other way, whichever is easier for you. I like to have the flat on the right side and the point on the right side. You basically want to find where the flat really starts to transition into the point. Somewhere right about in this area on this guy right here is what I'm thinking. So we're gonna go ahead and break those two pieces apart right there. Clean strokes right down through. Just make sure we're cut all the way through. Very nice. All right. So now we got those broken apart. And there's that first look right there. Decent smoke ring on it. Very nice. Smoke ring doesn't actually affect flavor at all. It's just for looks. The smoke flavor is throughout the entirety of the meat. It's not just on the ring. So when we're breaking it down, looking at the flat right here, this is your lean part. I always take off this first little piece right here on the end, the little point piece. That's a little taster piece right there. Put that to the side. You can break that in two. That'll be the taster piece that me and my fiance share right there. But now we've got a good clean edge to start working with, and we want to do it not too thick. We like probably about a 1/4 inch slice here, maybe. Right through. Boom. We're only going to do a couple of these because actually we prefer the fatty part, the point right here. So we're going to cut just a few of them just to get a good look at that meat there. Look at that. And there's just, you can't really see it, but there's just juices coming out of this bad boy still. Beautiful, beautiful meat right there. Let's take a look. You know, and there's two real tests with brisket that they always say. So they got the bend test and the pull test. So you got your bend test right there. That's what you want to see. You just want to see it folding around that knife. Just beautiful. Look at that. And then we'll go ahead and do, look, I don't even have to use my other hand, the pull test. It's just pulling apart like that. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So that is your flat, straight through, straight through, straight through, boom. That's your slices of flat right there. Fatty side, the point side. This is the star of the show for myself, honestly, for me and the fiance. So to break this guy down, the meat actually runs a different direction. So you want to turn it 90 degrees there, put that cut side away from you, and then start in the middle, break it in half, boom, all the way through, nothing sticking. Just look at that. Look at the juices in that. Oh yeah. And then it's real simple after that. Again, we're just cutting slices. With the point side, we like to cut a little bit of a thicker slice because we're gonna be breaking it apart anyway. So I go probably about 1/2 inch. Start from the center and work your way out. So we got one slice there, all the way through, another one right there. And that's honestly for dinner, for us, that's how we're gonna start right there. And I'm gonna leave the rest of the brisket whole. I'm not gonna start breaking it out because I don't wanna get it cooling down too much. I'm not gonna start breaking that down until I'm ready later on to eat that or to store it however I need it. So that right there, that's dinner. We're ready to go. We'll pull these slices out. I'll push them together, keep that heat in there. And that's it. A beautiful Texas brisket. Nice and shaky, nice and jiggly. All that beautiful fat rendered in there. You're going to love it.